Hello, welcome back to another episode of The Trekway. My name's Trevor. Flying solo today. Gray can't join us. This will just be a quick review of Season 3, Episode 1 of Star Trek Lower Decks. Just what I liked, what I disliked, some of the general points within the episode. Apologies for the late upload of this. We weren't able to do one sooner than that, but episode 2 should come quickly over this weekend as well, which is great. If we recall from the end of season 2, Captain Freeman was arrested for blowing up a planet on Pakled. She'd obviously been framed. The Cerritos was impounded, and that's all we knew, and it ended like that. We open up season 3 with Beckett having a conversation with her old man, not happy about the situation. She is stuck on Earth, hasn't spent much time there. She's not really a happy bunny. She's throwing things about his office, not happy whatsoever. And her dad, the admiral, the dadmiral, if you like, is trying to tell her to calm down and see some of Earth, which she doesn't really see much of. We then pan to Boimler on a wine grape picking farm, a vineyard if you want. This was hilarious for me because Boimler was getting hit on by ladies left, right, and centre. Some of the comments they made were absolutely hilarious, but he's either too stupid or he doesn't care that he's been hit on. He just knocks back the suggestion one after the other. And it's not wine he's making, it's dried raisins essentially. He wishes he was making wine, but his family business is a bit of a pale comparison to Picard's vineyard, which is clearly a rip-off. But I love that scene. I did love that scene. Pointless having a conversation with Beckett about the status quo, what they're going to do to prove the captain's innocence. We then take a little trip down memory lane to Cisco's restaurant. That put a smile on my face to see this back in there. No sign of Captain Cisco or Cisco's father. We don't know if he'd passed on at this stage in the series, so we don't see any of them, but still a nice nod at the same time. The ensigns are all having a conversation about how to prove the captain's innocence and get her out. At this whole time, Boimler's having some sauce called Ketracel white sauce. This whole time, Beckett's talking to him. He's going brighter and brighter red to the point where right at the end, as they're agreeing a plan of action, he kind of almost passes out. I found that amusing. Just little Easter eggs like that. Their plan is they want to be able to beam up to the Cerritos so they can hijack it and start their plan of trying to prove the captain's innocence. They go to this old transporter chief. I don't know if he's a chief, but he's certainly a transporter officer. He's called Dennis, and he's a proper old school character. The plan is the Beckett and their allies are going to take him out. And then use the transporter, beam up to the Cerritos, and Bob's your uncle. Just as they're about to hit him in the back of the head and take him out, he gives some sub story about his wife passing away, and Beckett stops from hitting him in the back of the head. But he's not smart. He accuses people of coming in just to use his transporter, and he pulls the phaser on him. But they pull the theatrics and they start the crying, and he cannot. No, I wasn't going to stun you, I promise. Puts the weapon down, and then after that, they talk about using the transporter, but he says it can't be used. There is a life form going through the solar system at the time, right over Earth. They look like pink blob things is the best way to describe it, and it's stopping transport. There's always an inhibitor of some sort in the show that stops transport, and this time it's alien life forms. But Beckett has a plan. She says, right, look, why don't we, you can't take us to the Cerritos, you can beam us somewhere else on the planet. So next thing, the their trip to Montana. And reason being, if you remember, that was First Contact, site of First Contact. You get the theme track from Star Trek First Contact, which is one of my favourite, probably my favourite of the Next Gen movies, actually. The theme music's in full flow. It's a theme park made up of the Phoenix, all the Vulcan ship that landed, and basically this it's a theme park. So the Phoenix is actually going up, as in it's a perfect replica. It's a proper rocket going up into space, and they're going to basically hijack this vehicle and use it to get to Cerritos. I believe now we go to the actual ship itself, the Phoenix, and this is great. It pointed this out to me. There was lots of shops and drinks and snack venues, and one of them was a drink called, or at least a drink venue called First Contact. If you get where I'm coming from for that, I like that. It was a little funny Easter egg, little nod there. They get on the queue to the Phoenix ride, and they try to get it to themselves, but a guy called Gavin sneaks in. And like, oh, we've got this guy on board with us now. We're kind of stuck with him. And then a hologram appears of none other than James Cromwell, Zephyrin Cochrane, and I thought this was brilliant. He couldn't return enough in previous seasons and movies and stuff, even though he plays such an important character. I don't know if he didn't want to come back or he couldn't come back or both. You saw brief highlights of him at the start of Star Trek Enterprise. He filmed some scenes, I think, remotely, but never came on set, which was a shame. So it was nice to see him back, even if it was just voice acting. He's a hologram. He's in the cockpit. He's going to take them up. At this stage here, the ship actually fires up with Gavin at the back, not prepared at all, absolutely crap in his pants. And then the magic carpet ride music comes on again, and now I absolutely love that. That just reminds me of Star Trek First Contact all the time. Every time I hear that music, it's absolutely brilliant. The guys get up into space, they hijack it, they warp to, instead of warping to wherever they were going to warp to, they warp to the Cerritos, which looked like it was past the moon, just in its own little solo space dock. They get themselves to the Cerritos. They dock, they get on board. Gavin says, though, no, I'm staying on the Phoenix. He takes it away, but he makes a bit of an idiot of it, and he can't obviously pilot it. You just see the Phoenix going all over the place, and then eventually warping away somewhere. We don't know what happens, supposedly, at Gavin at this stage. Now, their plan is they need to get Boimler's logs, personal logs, because Boimler's got a habit of taking the captain's logs and then adding his own comments or logs onto them, which is a bit bizarre, but that's Boimler. We know what he's like at this stage. He adds random comments in, which I had a little chuckle about. As in, I laughed out loud a little bit of work, which I probably shouldn't have done. He needs to really stop. He was caught, sniffing the captain's chair again. No words, and a bit of constipation and how he's struggling to fart. So this is Boimler and his random comments. We love Boimler's randomness, but the captain's personal logs are in there as well, and these personal logs are going to prove her innocent somehow. They're about to take the logs. They go back on to, they go to the shuttle bay, jump on a shuttle. They're about to take it away, but Beckett has other ideas. She locks them in the ship, into the shuttle, and says she's going to have to take the Cerritos herself to try and get her mum out of out of prison. Even though they have a plan, she's just going full Beckett, as she normally does. She goes back, takes control of the Cerritos. The guys are sent away, the ensigns are sent away in the shuttlecraft. And then then you get Beckett absolutely properly stealing the Cerritos out of dry dock. The dry dock officer saying, "I didn't realise the ship was supposed to be out of dry dock today." The other one confirms, "No, it's not." And then I just love how the officer just casually just pushes the red alert button, just casual as you like, goes off, which alerts security. But this whole time, we've still got the shuttlecraft. We've still got the shuttlecraft on course to go back to Earth, but they managed to override it and actually change where Earth is. Where home is supposed to be instead of Earth. It's the Cerritos. They're coming in hot and heavy then on the Cerritos after rerouting the path, because the navigation system still thinks it's going towards Earth, can't compensate for the speed, so they go into the shuttle bay pretty hot and heavy, kind of crash a little bit, turn upside down, but they're okay. And then we see all the ensigns down in the shuttle bay. The alien life forms have managed to get on the ship, and they're actually absorbing some of the carbon off it to replicate. This whole time, they've got a kind of plan of trying to tend to the security officers that have now beamed on board, that they're going to try and save these alien life forms. And there's a point where you think they're maybe not going to make it, but they manage to bluff their way past the security officers. This whole time, while they're interacting with alien life forms, they're getting shocked constantly. They're not saying more than 2 words and zap here and zap there. Poor ensigns getting a hard time of it, as usual. The security officers are going to let them off of it, but they say, who you wouldn't be doing this yourself. You wouldn't be mad enough. Surely a captain signed off on this, or an officer of ranking has signed off on this. Who is it? Who would it be? They're like, caught off guard. And then, just as the proverbial's about to hit the fan, Captain Freeman comes back. He walks through into the shuttle bay, and it was a bit surprising to see her, considering she was supposed to be in jail. She gives the story of what happened. Essentially, an elite security team went down to Pakled planet to find out really what was going on. I'd imagine it's their B team. Pakled's not being the most intelligent means you're not getting the top recruits. Saying that, though, you did actually see a couple of cameos, although they weren't voiced. Tuvok, you saw him, which was amazing. You saw Captain Morgan Bateson. If you recall, that was played by Kelsey Grammer Fraser back in the day. From Fraser, sorry. But no voice part for these guys. It was great. Credit to Gray, he pointed out the Bateson part. You see an Akira-class ship at one point taking down the Pakled ship. Don't know which ship it was. I don't recall any registration. It was just disappointing to not get any actual voice acting from Kelsey Grammer or Tuvok, which was really disappointing, because were they asked to come back, maybe they would have said yes. You don't know. Maybe Avery Brooks would have come back. He was asked. Who knows? But at least we saw their faces, which is better than nothing. The Pakleds, trying to be dumb as usual, were trying to frame Freeman, because they were wanting to basically have their capital blown up so that the Federation would move them to a more resource-rich planet. Obviously, his plan has failed massively because they're dumb. But Captain Freeman's not happy at this stage. She's sick of her daughter messing up. Her latest incident of stealing the Cerritos was enough for her. She obviously loves her daughter, you can tell. She can't kick her at Starfleet, but she knows one person who potentially could, and puts her daughter's hands into the care of none other than Commander Ransom, and it was good to see him back. It's basically a final warning. Commander Ransom walks on with Beckett going, no, anyone apart from him. Commander Ransom then just literally turns around with a brilliant one-liner, just says, I'm your mama now. The last scene of this episode is, which I like how they finish these episodes sometimes. We actually catch up with the broken down Phoenix ride. It's been rescued and supposedly repaired, but the engineers, the security officers, are trying to get Gareth out of the ship, but he's a bit irate. He's not wanting to leave. It's his ship now, and no one else's. Now, like I say, a good 7 out of 10 this episode. It was nice to see it come back with a decent outing. It wasn't an amazing episode, but it wasn't poor either. A couple of minor notes that Gray gave to me was he felt there was maybe too many Easter eggs in these episodes, and I kind of partially agree with him. I think these days there's far too many Easter eggs put into things for the sake of it. Maybe just put in a dozen or so really good ones and leave it at that instead of every other thing being a Easter egg. But the ones I saw, certainly the bigger ones, I really, really enjoyed. And also another thing to note as well was, I guess Lord Dex is a bit different. Again, another point from Gray. He wasn't entirely happy that the way they treat death and destruction on Lord Dex. He thinks really that sometimes some shows can be a bit too callous with it. But particularly Lord Dex, the security officer, Shax, the way they handle his death was one exception. That he loved the fact that they kind of passed it off like, we can't tell you why, you couldn't handle the truth if we told you why. Which I never really thought about it, but Gray's spot on. It is a very good point. It's an animated show. Characters die and come back. I guess we got to treat it a little bit different, to be honest with you. I love Shaq's favourite character of mine. But overall, let's say 7 out of 10. And what we'll do is we'll probably wrap up here. I don't want to go on too long. We'll try and get episode 2 review out over the weekend. I think we've got about 9 episodes to go, so we'll catch up very, very soon. Thank you for your patience of the video being late. Usually the review episodes won't be too late. But till the next way, take it easy. Bye-bye.